Jazz's Story, presented by Merge. Please be aware that within the following story, there are mentions of suicide, suicidal thoughts, depression, and anxiety. Take care of your own body-mind with that in consideration. The thoughts and ideas discussed in this story may not align with those of the Human Development Institute, Merge, or the University of Kentucky.
There's no reason to not meet people where they're at. Now, of course, if they're harmful, they're toxic, we're not talking about those people. Put those people wherever you want to put those people. But in your day-to-day life, most people are kind. Most people want to be kind. So accommodate. There's no reason not to. I know it seems like it's extra work to talk to an autistic person, and maybe it is. I can't help you with that. You're missing out. Sometimes things that are good, you have to work hard for them. How are we supposed to spend time with each other? How are we supposed to love one another? There's no rule book. You should do the things that, bring you joy, even if they're a little extra work. The best mental health days that I have are days that I do work. It's not a lot of work, but like 4 hours of being really productive, checking off small to-dos, clearing things off my list, immensely improves my mental health. I know that's so boring. Nobody wants to hear me say doing your job actually can make you mentally healthy, but for me, it does. I have so many special interests that it's hard not to just engage in one. So, for autistic people, engaging in a special interest, sometimes that doesn't just mean playing your favorite video game. I highly recommend people to get a little academic with it and read a critique of your favorite thing. A lot of mental health coping strategies or self-care, a lot of them are just kind of like hygiene or do a relaxing thing. I think that people should spend time to educate yourself on something. Learn to recontextualize and enjoy things in new ways. It'll make you smarter. You'll enjoy your thing even more if you understand how it's made. Right now, I'm actually working on a guide that kind of extends Outland, but it's for the Kentucky Autism Advisory Board. It's about how to kind of exist on these boards and how to communicate and have dialogue from both perspectives. I think that there's a little bit more of a push to have the allistic people understand the autistic people, but I do understand where allistic people are coming from because I have attended a lot of board meetings, and a lot of the times autistic people on these board meetings feel tokenized. I have been tokenized in a lot of nonprofit circles as the one person that is supposed to be there to say the profound thing, and then everybody clap. Oh, so smart, Jazz. And then they go on and they continue to do ableist stuff, right? Because of that, there's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of anger in the autistic community. And because we are very direct people and often aren't in control of our tone, and sometimes I think a lot of people don't give us credit that sometimes we are just angry. Now, the onus should not be on the autistic person. If you're in an autistic space, I think you should kind of understand that in order to be in that space. However, I still don't think that there's any harm in telling autistic people strategies on how to handle that. How to get what you want in a meeting without them immediately painting you as the bad guy. It's going to be a kind of a comprehensive guide to try to help people actually have conversations that are fruitful and go places and where people at least feel heard. We might not always get what we want, even though we should. I feel like we should. But there's got to be a way that we can exist without having to conform and be the good crip. I'm exploring that right now and trying to come up with a guide. I'm going to be creating some plain language guides for TTRPGs. There is a lot of really fun, exciting mental health research about how role-playing and tabletop RPGs are actually really therapeutically beneficial for clients. And I think especially for the autistic population, it gives us an opportunity to practice and explore different social contexts in a safe environment. I'm finding a lot of people who are trying to start stuff for autistic kids are having a really big, hard time explaining the rules. Those rules are hard. A lot of kids are not reading these rule books. They're making up rules on their own, and God bless them. I think that's great. I'm thinking about making it essentially a guide for like a Dungeons and Dragons, a Call of Cthulhu, all my favorites, all the ones that I think that people would want to play and anybody that people request. Not just a plain language guide on the rules of like when you roll a d20, but something that also comes back in like a PDF doc that you can control F and find a definition for a word. I feel like a lot of these plain language guides that these disability orgs do, they just make the sentences shorter and it's not really increasing the comprehension level. I'd like disability to be more of a focus in the TTRPG space because so many of us Love it. And I'd love to be represented. I'd love to go to PAX and present and talk about it, because I think that these are things that only increase your player base, and we live in a capitalist society, so why not do it? Why not make your website accessible? Who doesn't want to play Dungeons and Dragons? It should just be accessible. When I finally have the time to do it, I'm so excited to put that together, because I just think it's cool. And the research that comes out about the therapeutic benefits is awesome. I love scientifically backed alternative practices to mental health care. The one way doesn't work for everybody. And I think that specifically for autistic kids, they all need to be prescribed a D&D session at least twice a month. I think they need to be slaying dragons. I think they need to be saving maidens. We need to be teaching the kids early. There's that saying, you've met one autistic person, it means you've met one autistic person. And I really think that when it comes to individuals that you're providing treatment or care for, you really have to treat them as individuals. And I know that, as physicians and stuff, that you see a lot of people, so you recognize patterns. You've got to be able to give space for yourself to be wrong, regardless if you're a mental health practitioner or you're autistic or whatever. And I think that that comes from just being able to accept new information, be open to new ideas, be open to trying new things, because at the worst is that they don't work. That's just reality. If you don't accept that fact, you're going to come into a lot of hardship and a lot of roadblocks. You don't need to make life that hard. People are different and weird, and sometimes you don't understand them, but that doesn't mean that you cannot get along with them and help them on their way.
To learn more about Merge, please visit us at hdi.uky.edu/MERGE.